try to time it perfectly when I try to get on, Whew. Oh
Hey,
my
we're doing all right.
goodness.
I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
1 minute after. That's good.
yeah. That's not bad. Usually color people time, it takes about 10, 15 minutes. Whew.
So colored people time is the same as French people time. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I'm sweating and shit. All right. Well, welcome back, fam. Good to have you back here talking about the apes. But before we get started, man, I got a bone to pick with you. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a bone to pick with you, man. I need you to put some respect on Alice Cooper's name, okay? All right. That
no.
that that track was one of the highlights of the movie. All right.
No, it's so
From
cheesy.
the opening title, and then at the very end, after you see your boy hanging from the damn
Right.
doom, 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 doom. like
Uh,
that track, like it's chilling, but yet calm, but yet menacing and scary.
I like it at the end. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. At the
yeah,
beginning, it just it is. Yeah, Alice Cooper's '80s stuff is it's a little
yeah.
bit cheesy. Yeah.
It's like I usually don't yeah, I usually don't comment on a lot of videos, but that's one of my favorite movies ever. So I had to come on and say something about that, man. I'm like, this dude tripping.
Right. For those out
All
there
right.
who don't know what we're talking about, I recently reviewed Class of 1984, and then it has a track in it from Alice Cooper that Rashad likes, and I'm not such a fan of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So once again,
That's what's going on. Right.
put some respect on his name. So, anyways, though, I got Rob here from Xploitation Reviews. Make sure you check out the link in the description afterwards. Okay, so he reviews a lot of exploitation movies, the obscure that many people may not have heard about. He covers them. Excellent content, man. I love watching your stuff, bro. I'll look
Thanks,
forward
man.
to the next. I always look forward to the next movie that you're going to review because most times I haven't even heard of it. So, yes, when I saw Class of '84, I was like, oh shit,
Oh
okay.
yeah, I know
And
this one. Yeah.
now you're talking my language, okay? All right.
Yeah.
So but we're here today though to talk about the Caesar trilogy of the Planet of the Apes,
That's right.
starting with Rise and then Dawn and then War. But when you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, I mean, I think it should have been I think the first one probably should have been Dawn because it's the dawn of the talking apes. And then I think the
Right.
second one should have been War because that's when the war started. And then the last one should have been called Rise because the humans are pretty much gone. It's the rise of the apes. So
Right. Yep.
I think they had all the titles wrong there.
Yeah, I
But
agree. Yeah, your naming system makes much more sense. Yeah.
you know what I mean. So
Mm-hmm.
all right, the viewer Drew. Okay, what's happening, fam? Happy to
What's
have
up?
you on. I like your profile picture. That's another one of my favorite joints, Logan.
Oh yeah, great
Uh,
movie. Yeah.
Favorite Planet of the Apes is Dawn. Okay, yeah. So we're about to get to it. So we're gonna start with Rise.
Right.
Now, okay, Matt Reeves directed Dawn and War, right? But he didn't direct Rise, did he?
I
Um,
forgot to look up the director. I should have done that before the show.
well,
Yeah.
that's the same here. Well, because I thought Matt Reeves directed all three of them, but then I just remembered last second he didn't. I don't think he directed Rise.
Okay.
So Rise was actually directed by Rupert Wyatt. Where do I know him from?
I
Uh,
don't recognize the name.
Captive State, The Gambler, The Escapist, Desert Warrior, Agent. I don't know any of these movies, but
The
um,
Escapist sounds kind of familiar, but I don't think I've seen
uh,
it.
no, I haven't seen it either. I've heard of The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg, but I haven't seen. I really haven't seen his work besides Rise. But anyway, he knocked out the park with Rise because I remember watching the trailer and when they showed Caesar for the first time, just like in the close up, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that looks very eerie. That looks so real. Like
Yeah.
it was kind of creepy a little bit. So I had high expectations going to the movies to see this, and I went. And I think like everybody else, when you heard Caesar speak for the first, we're going into spoilers here, by the way. When you heard
Right. Yeah.
Caesar speak for the first time, no,
No. Yeah.
the
Yeah. Cool
whole
as hell.
crowd
Yeah.
was quiet, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quiet, like you could hear a pin drop, you could hear a rat pissing on cotton, That's how quiet it was, man. So yeah, so it's the start of Caesar from a baby all the way up into he's living with James Franco, living like a human, and then he gets a reality check that he's actually a chimp when he bites somebody's finger off. And you hear a lot of real life stories like that where people try to raise chimps as pets, as human babies, and they realize, okay, these are wild animals that will fuck you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're super strong.
Super strong. And it goes from that to he starts a revolt, against the humans. And he gets the apes together, and then they say they end up having their own colony, their own you know what I'm saying? And so that's pretty much Rise of the Apes. So what's your overall thoughts of Rise? Like when you
overall,
first watched
I like
it, when
it.
you rewatched it?
I like it quite a bit. I think it holds up well. And I also like some of the references to some of the old school ape movies, like his line "No." I mean, that was a big thing in Conquest or the Battle of the Apes, because that was like the one word that humans weren't supposed to say to apes, and in Battle for the Planet of the Apes, the next one too, plays a big role. And I also liked his battle strategy. I just noticed this when I watched it a few weeks ago again with my son. His battle strategy on the Golden Gate Bridge?
Golden Gate Bridge, yes.
Is the same battle strategy that Caesar used in Conquest, where he sends out apes to flank the humans, and then he walks up the middle as like the distraction. And that's like the same thing. It's like straight out of the old school one, which I thought was really cool.
There was a lot of little Easter eggs in there, even the "take your paws off me, you damn dirty ape," and all that there. So yeah, a lot of callbacks to the original movie, but in a lot of ways surpassed the OG. You know what I'm saying? As much respect as I have for the old movie, for the original, Rise to me, like, just did what very few reboots do. And that's be better than the original. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it did a great job. I don't think I like it more than the original, but I do like it a lot. Yeah.
It's because Caesar's just such a badass character, man, and just to see his journey from baby chimp, from a pet, and then even that moment when he realizes, like, holy shit, like I am a pet. When he has the leash on and he looks at the dog, he's like, wait a minute. Is that what I am?
Am I a pet? Yeah.
Right. And there are many times where, because like I said, Caesar doesn't speak until like an hour into the movie, but Andy Serkis does such a great job with his facial expressions, and you always know that Caesar's thinking something, he's plotting something, he's coming up with something, even though you don't 100% know what it is, but you're on board with it. You're with him. You know what I mean? And whereas in the original one, you kind of didn't know who to root for because, like, okay, the apes are kind of the bad guys here, but then they're not. And then Charlton Heston is the protagonist, but then he's part of the asshole Homo sapiens. So, like, who am I supposed to be rooting for here? But here in Rise, it's all about Caesar and Maurice. And then you have Maurice and then Rocket. And my personal favorite of this movie is Buck, the gorilla.
Oh yeah,
cool. But besides Caesar, like, he was my favorite. Like, one of my favorite scenes, bro, is when Caesar's trying to figure out how to get over getting bullied by Rocket. So he says, if I have a powerful ally that has my back, Rocket's gonna have to bow down. And he releases Buck from his cage. Stop calling me baby mama. Let me put my phone on silent. He releases Buck from his cage. And then with that moment where Rocket's looking at Caesar, he looks over at Buck, and Buck is like, okay, you got it.
Yeah.
I love that part.
Offer
man.
the hand, yeah.
Right. And I don't know. And do you think that James Franco was kind of miscast in this movie because the reputation that he has now to be like this kind of quirky perv? You know what I mean? Did he fit in a movie like this? Did you think that he was kind of wrong for this part?
I liked him quite a lot in this, actually. I thought he did a good job of being sort of the, committed sort of family man trying to fix his dad, and then also becomes like a good dad himself to Caesar.
Right.
At the same time being like at the beginning, he's like sort of maybe unethical with like his drive to develop the medicine or whatever, but then he
Right.
kind of settles down into much more of a respectable kind of family role. And
Yeah.
I thought he did a good job. I liked him.
Yeah, yeah, and also with that being said, it's also a cautionary tale because it shows how men can destroy themselves. Because his whole thing was he wanted to make a cure for Alzheimer's because of his
Right.
father, and which it did work at first, and then the body started rejecting it, and then that's how he came up with the what do you call the simian flu or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
because
right.
they needed a more like aggressive
Mm-hmm.
virus
Right.
to counteract like the body's immune system or whatever, and then that second version of the drug is what created the simian flu. Yeah,
Right, right. And as a
yeah.
result, it stopped working on the humans, but it made the apes smarter, kind of
Right.
like Deep Blue Sea. They try to do the same thing, make the sharks smarter. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Yeah. What a smart
so
idea. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, right. But well, especially with apes, like apes is the wrong species to do that too, because apes are 98% human. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like they
they're
just have
a
that two
lot like
percent,
us. Yeah.
right? They have that 2% that make them, savages. But yeah, so besides Caesar, we also have another smart ape that gets a hold of the drug, and that's Koba,
Right. Yeah.
who has a small role in this movie, but you could tell that okay, this dude's gonna be a problem later on. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, yeah. Um, so okay, so other than the no part, what was some of the highlights of the film for you that you was like, this really stood out? Like this is badass.
That's a good question. Um, Yeah, so as far as the badass one, I mean, like the no is the big badass moment.
Hmm.
But I think the moments I like in this are more of the dramatic ones, like
Right.
when his dad kind of recovers and is playing piano and he gets better. And then when the dad realizes that it's going to go away again, like
Mhm.
I liked a lot of those scenes. Like John Lithgow, I think, did a great job as like
Yeah.
the dad. And I liked Brian Cox as the sort of villainous ape
Hmm.
handler or whatever that facility.
Right.
Yeah, where it looks kind of cool, and then as soon as Franco leaves, Caesar gets put in to the real facility, like the sort of
Yeah.
prison in the background. And I was like, oh shit, this sucks.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you felt bad for Caesar when he got locked up. It's like, especially when James Franco would come to get him and it's like, no, Caesar, you can't, we're not going home today. And he had that moment where he was like on the glass, like,
Mm,
like, like, no, like, don't leave me here. I'm like, oh, it's like poor Caesar, man. But then that something switched in his brain. He's like, you know what? Okay, I'm stuck here. I got to make the most out of this situation, and I got to use my wits and think my way out of this.
yeah.
It and what really sticks out from that is when what's the dude from Harry Potter? What's his name again?
Oh, yeah. To me, he's always Malfoy, but I
Yeah,
don't know the actor's name.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That guy when they brought the girls in there trying to show out, and then the dude
right.
walked up to the cage and Caesar grabbed him, and
Mm,
that moment where the music kicks in, you see Caesar's face and how like serious he was. I was like,
mm,
ooh. I
ooh.
said, I like this dude, man. I like this dude. He jacked the knife to free himself. Like
Right.
just
Yeah.
little stuff like that. I'm like, this movie is so badass. And then the climax at the end on the Golden Gate Bridge,
Mm,
that shit was like I just watch. Sometimes I just go to that part by itself. That final battle on that bridge. That was
yeah,
so
it's a great
badass.
action sequence. Yeah. Mhm.
Right. Right. And it does get ridiculous. So as grounded as this movie is, even though we're still talking about talking apes, smart apes, but it's still a grounded film. Like you can kind of see this happening. But
Yeah.
when your boy Buck jumped off the bridge to get to
Mm.
the helicopter, I said this movie has lost his fucking mind. I, I don't know. I don't know the full extent of what gorillas are capable of physically,
Yeah,
but I
I've
don't.
never seen them jump
I
before.
ain't never
Yeah.
seen him jump like that.
Yeah.
But Rob, it was so badass, man. It was
Yeah.
like King Kong jumping up and just wrecking it, and then you guys see him in the helicopter just wrecking the
Mhm.
dude. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm a big softy, as many of you know. So yeah, spoiler when Buck was dying, I shed a tear. I ain't gonna lie, man. I cry every time I watch that part, man. Like, yeah, I was watching with my son, and my son was like, "No, Buck."
No.
He's like, "No,
Yeah.
Buck, you can't die, son. No, it's okay, son. It's okay.
It'll be all right. Yeah.
It'll be all right."
Caesar can get a new gorilla. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, he replaced him in the next movie. You know, like there was never a mention of Buck again, even though he was crucial to the escape. You know, he was crucial to Caesar even becoming the Alpha, to the escape, and then getting over the bridge. Like, Buck played a huge part of that.
Yeah, and then
yeah, and he gets taken out, and then Kobe gets sweet revenge on your boy. You know, when the helicopter falls. So so the movie ends with the apes getting over the bridge. We got our own spot. We have our own civilization. But okay, here we go. It is called Planet of the Apes. So the pilot guy, nosebleed, he's got the flu, and he gets on the plane, and then everybody gets sick. Roll credits.
Yep.
So that's Rise. All right.
Right.
So let me ask you. Okay, so we are critiquing this film. So as far as flaws, like anything that you said was like, this movie could have did without that, or I feel like something was missing here. Like, did you have any issues with the film?
Well, one thing I noticed watching them again in the past couple of weeks that my wife pointed out is in this film and really the whole series, there are like no cool female characters. Like everyone in all three of these movies is a boy or a man or a male ape or whatever, which is really weird in a way that like in the OG ones, they had some cool female characters. Like Zira was awesome.
Right.
So it's weird that like the 70s movies are in a way more progressive on that front than these movies from like the 2010s, you know?
Right.
Because like in this movie, the only female character is the love interest. But she never really becomes like even a mom.
Yeah, she's a one note. Really. Yeah, she's a one note character. Yeah.
And in the second one, there's like the love interest, like doctor, and then like Caesar's wife. Like, does she even say anything? Like, I have no attachment to her.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got nothing on Zira, like at all. Yeah.
Right. That's a fair criticism. You know what, Rob? I never thought about that. Like, I guess I got so, I don't want to say distracted, but I was just so in awe of the action and, Caesar's story that I never stopped to think like, where are all the female characters at?
Yeah, right. And why are all the like warrior apes like men? Like female chimpanzees are also strong as hell. Like they could do that.
Right.
Yeah, they're stronger than humans. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? Hopefully the Kingdom will fix that problem, and we have
maybe
a Zira type character.
That would be cool.
That's really good critique. That's a good critique, though, man. Yeah, I didn't think about that, and that's very.
It's fair. My wife's critique, and in all fairness, she pointed it out. Yeah.
She pointed it out. I really had no issues with the movie. To be honest with you, like trying to put my critic hat on, trying to nitpick about anything. Even at the time when I first saw it, man, I found nothing really wrong with the movie that I could think of. I mean, I thought it was well paced. There was no slow parts where you're like, okay, this needs to pick back up again. Like I said, Caesar's journey from beginning to end was dope. Even James Franco, I had no issue with this character. So yeah, I really had no problems with this movie, man. Maybe sometimes the CG was a little suspect, but this is back in 2011, so you kind of got to give that a break, because at the time that motion capture was really revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? So, but as far as CG goes, it's probably the weakest of the three as far as the effects.
Yeah.
But other than that, I have no issue.
Yeah, but it's still great. Like
for sure.
Yeah.
So grade wise, this movie gets an A+ for me, man. I love Rise of the Apes.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. I give it an A. Yeah, it's a solid action film with some heart. So it's cool.
Yeah, he has some heartfelt moments, some shocking moments. Like it's a popcorn action movie. It's a sci-fi movie. It's a cautionary tale. Does have moments of humor in there.
Mm,
And not only caution with the medicine, creating the medicine to kill humanity, but stop getting chimps as pets.
right.
Like, man, probably one day, man, I don't know what's wrong with me, man. One day I went on like a rabbit hole of
Mm,
YouTube videos, see like story after story about how tragic it ends when these people try to get apes and raise them as human beings.
yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah.
And every one of those stories all end the same. Like they're cute when they're small. You can train them. They're just adorable. You want to hug them. And then when they get
Mm,
that age, man, it's like this snap happens, and it's like your face is gone.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
like that. Like
Yeah.
that one story. I think it was Travis the Chimp. I don't know if you heard that story with Travis the Chimp.
It sounds familiar. Is he the one that like ripped the like arm off that woman or something?
Yeah, well, and matter of fact, he knew the lady because it was okay. It was his owner's friend, and she came to the
Okay.
house, and I guess she had his Tickle Me Elmo doll that
Mm-hmm.
belonged to him. So for whatever
Uh,
reason, when he saw the doll in her hand, he snapped and he
mm,
attacked her.
mm.
And you can hear the audio, man. She's screaming for help, and he's like,
Yeah.
he's ripping her face out. He
Oof.
ripped her eyeballs out. He bit her fingers off,
Oh,
tore chunks
crazy.
out of her stomach, and you hear the friend calling 911, like, he's killing my friend, he's tearing her apart. And
Yeah.
so when they got there, she was like a glob of just goo, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But she
Yeah.
lived, she did survive. They had to do like,
Oh, that's
I don't
good.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did like, I don't know how many surgeries on her, but when you
Mm-hmm.
saw her after all the surgeries, they even look like the same person.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So stop taking chimps as pets, man.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
right.
I don't even really like seeing them in zoos. I mean, they're
Yeah.
so smart and they've got like
Hmm.
family structures and they get sad when their children die and stuff. I mean,
Right.
these aren't the kinds of things we should be putting in cages. Like, yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, especially when they have like, okay, so just like in this movie where Caesar figured out how to escape. I heard another story real quick. I heard this on Joe Rogan's podcast where he said this guy who owned a chimp had to put him in one of those, the ape sanctuaries or whatever. And
Uh,
he went to go visit him for his birthday and brought him a birthday cake. And so when the other chimps saw that he brought this chimp the cake, they got jealous, they got enraged because chimps are
uh,
very selfish creatures. Where it's like, okay, why'd you bring him a cake? You ain't bring me a cake.
right. Yeah.
And they took it personal. So however they did it, they was able to escape, and they got this guy and they ripped him apart
Wow.
just
Crazy.
because
Yeah.
just because he brought his ape a cake. They
Yeah.
tore him apart, killed him.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right, so now we're gonna get to the next movie here. My personal favorite of the
Mine too.
trilogy. Yes, Dawn of
Dawn.
the
It's
Apes.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, which should have been called War, but
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dawn of the Apes. So of course I saw this opening weekend, directed by Matt Reeves. So this one here takes everything that was great about Rise and just took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, from the CG to Caesar's character, how he even has
Mm,
more of an arc in this movie. How we now have Koba, who is the opposite of Caesar, where Caesar had good experiences with humans and he saw their good and their bad side, and Koba
mm,
saw just the bad side. So
just about. Yeah.
he had a hatred towards humans, which was understandable, right? So there was a time in this movie where I was kind of Team Koba, like, bro, I understand where you're coming from, I get you,
Mm,
but then Rob Koba started tripping.
yeah. He went crazy. Yeah.
He lost
Yeah.
his fucking mind, man. He did. If you ever seen the movie Juice, he did a Bishop Tupac from Juice, man. He lost it.
Yeah. He went nuts.
He
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
nuts. Yeah. But this time around, Caesar has a family now. He has a wife who was sick about 95% of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
She's just in bed the whole time.
just in
Yeah.
bed the whole time. He's got a son. I think they call him Blue Eyes. And
Yeah. Or
yeah, Blue
bright.
Eyes.
Is it bright eyes like Trump
Was it Bright
Master?
Eyes? There's
Oh,
something
I
like
don't
that.
know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, Bright Eyes or something. But yeah, but I guess to separate him from the rest of the apes, they had to give him a scar when the bear,
Right.
the bear fucked him up. And then he has another son, Cornelius, right? So
Right.
this
Well,
time around, the apes are thriving. Everything is going good. Caesar's got another son, and you see him talking with Maurice like life is great, man. And
yeah.
Maurice is like, well, what about the humans? You think they're all gone? Like, well, we haven't seen them in a while, so yeah, they pretty much destroyed themselves, and I feel bad about it, but fuck them. And lo and behold, some humans come up in there. So I guess because there's a dam up there where they can, bring electricity back.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I like about this movie also, Rob, is that it took a turn that I didn't think it was going to take, because I thought it was going to once again show how evil humans are and how the apes had to go to war with the humans because of what they did. But no, this time around, it wasn't the humans; it was Ape.
It was the apes. Yeah, Koba. Yeah,
that started everything from trying to kill Caesar and then blaming it on the humans. Starting war out of his hatred for the apes, and then even killing his own when they wouldn't follow what he said. So the whole ape kill ape thing just goes out the window.
Yeah, because he killed Rocket's son.
Yeah, Ash. Yeah.
Like so threw him over the balcony or whatever.
Yeah. And it's kind of a heartbreaking ending too, because that last moment where Caesar and I forgot the main actor's name. I know he played John Connor in one of those Terminator movies.
I don't know.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but that moment they have where he was like, I thought we could get along. I thought we could, and Caesar was like, yeah, me too, man. But what Ape did, humans not going to forgive. So even though I fuck with you and we cool, but right now we at war, man. There's nothing either one of us can do about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So okay, so I know you said this is your favorite of the trilogy as well.
My favorite of the three. Yeah.
So to you, what did this film do even better than Rise, where you're like, damn, this is a fucking masterpiece?
So because what I liked about Rise as well is the dramatic parts and the emotional stuff, and this movie has that. It's got some cool drama, but it also has Koba dual wielding machine guns on horseback.
That was badass.
Unbelievable. Like, it's such a great war scene, like jumping through fire on horses and stuff. like oh my god, this is like so cool. So yeah, like the action sequences are just like they're great. The story I think is cool. Koba has got some really great lines, when Caesar's trying to convince him, just let the humans do their work and they'll go away, and then he's like, human work. And he points to a scar, human work, and like points to another scar. I'm like, oh, okay, I understand where he's coming from.
Human work. But the way Caesar rose up on him, like, I said, damn, Caesar's so badass, man.
That's a big part of what I like too about the movie is all the characters in the movie, you understand their motivations, and they're all reasonable to a certain extent until Koba goes crazy, and just goes way too far. But like you understand where the humans are coming from, and you understand where like the military side of the humans are coming from with what's his name,
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman. Right. Yeah. And then of course Caesar is smart as hell, so his points make sense.
Right.
And,
and the trailer took us for a loop, because the way the trailer sold the movie, you thought that Gary Oldman was going to be like the antagonist. You thought he was going to be the bad guy of the movie, where in reality, just like everybody else, he just wanted electricity. He just wanted things to go back to normal, and he didn't want war with the apes. But when Koba did what he did, it's like, okay, I have to save the human race. Like when he had that scene when he had the detonator, and your boy was trying to stop him, like, no, like, they're not all bad. He's like, do this, like, man, I'm saving the human race. Personal, but I've seen what they're capable of. I've seen what they can do. These motherfuckers are on horses.
Right, yeah. It's a little criticism, but I do think it's kind of stupid in a way, is when he first learns, Gary Oldman's character, that the apes were talking, and he goes, that's impossible. And then, but I'm like, well, humans talk, we're apes, like, that's not impossiple. Like, why would he be so resistant to this idea that they could talk? Like, that just seemed kind of stupid to me. But
no, that's a fair criticism. It is. I don't know, I guess it's just one of those denial things like, even though logically it makes sense to be like a talking ape, an ape on a horse, a gorilla riding a horse.
Right.
It just
Those
doesn't.
poor horses have to
Yeah.
carry those gorillas around.
Exactly. And even the score, the musical score of the movie was even amplified this time around. Like I love the score of this movie, especially when Caesar and Koba had that last battle at the end where they're fighting, and the score just makes it that much more epic, right? When they're having their fight. And I get goosebumps every time I watch it. The climax where where Koba's hanging and he's all messed up, and Caesar's reaching for his hand, right? But Caesar's looking up and he's seeing the damage that Koba has done, and even the apes are looking at him like, you're gonna help him up? Are you serious? And then Koba does the whole ape not kill ape.
Right. Yeah.
You hear the music rise up. You are not ape. No. I was like, I get chills every time I watch that scene. But I was like, damn, you fucked him up.
I think that line could have been better though. When he said that you are not ape. Yeah, because he is obviously an ape.
Right.
Yeah, so I wonder if they could have had a better line there. I'm not sure what it would be, but when I first heard it, I'm like, well, wait a minute, yes, he is.
No, well, it's more like, no, you're not an ape. You're a monster. Like you're a demon.
That's how I took it too. And then I thought maybe he should have said, "You are a monster." Like,
right.
maybe that would have worked.
Because Caesar, he was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like he told because Maurice was talking shit about him, about Koba, and Caesar was like, "Nah, man, like you don't understand. Like all he's known is what the humans did to him. Like they tortured him, they experimented on him. Like he only saw their bad side. So I get where he's coming from." But it was in that moment where Koba shot him. That's what Caesar said. Okay, this motherfucker ain't shit.
Yeah.
And it was a funny scene too, Rob. After he shot Caesar, right? And then I think the son was the one that found the gun. He was like, "Human gun!" And then you see Maurice. Yeah. Maurice turns to the humans. He says,
"Run!" Yeah, yeah.
That's like the only time you heard Maurice talk, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, even in the next movie, Maurice doesn't talk much. He seems to struggle making the sounds. Yeah.
Right. So, like there's not. I mean, dog. What can we say about this movie that we haven't already said, man? This is.
I don't know. I mean, as far as like sci-fi action movies go, it's hard to find one much better.
Right.
I mean, it's just engaging with cool characters, and it's exciting, and it looks fantastic. Yeah, it's a great action film. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and rewatchability like a motherfucker, man. Like I saw it twice at the cinema, and then of course when it came on Blu-ray, I had to cop it. I've seen it. I must have seen this movie. I've seen it more than the other ones, that's for sure. I had to have seen Dawn probably at least 7 or 8 times.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen it quite that many, but probably at least 5.
So I've seen Dawn the most. I've seen Rise almost as much. Now this the next one, so we're gonna get to the next one now. I've watched War probably the least, but that's not to say that I didn't really like the movie, but I didn't watch as much as the other ones, right?
Right.
So
it's also newer, so we've had less time.
It's newer, right. So to wrap up Dawn, once again, nothing negative I could say about the film. I had no problems with it. The motion capture, once again, flawless. Like it's even better than Rise. Like the fur moves. You know what I'm saying? Like the detail in the face, and that the ending, the last shot where the camera zooms in on Caesar's face. Even though I was taken right from Conquest, right, where they zoomed in on the face.
Right.
But man, the detail, like you look like you was watching a real ape, like that was a real chimpanzee. You know what I mean?
And even him like getting shot is kind of from, and Koba's character is also kind of from Battle, right? Because he's basically like the general. What's his name? Aldo,
I think it was, right?
Aldo, that's basically the same character, like this human hating ape character. Yeah.
Right.
So also a little bit of a callback to the original series.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. And shout out to that. I gotta look his name up. The actor that played Cobra. Like I know we all, we praise Andy Serkis for and he is Andy Serkis is the
He's great.
star of
Yeah.
it. But man, that guy that played Cobra, you got to give him his flowers too, man. Man, he
Yeah, for
Cobra.
sure.
Yeah, it's such a well written character because, like I said, he's not just a one note villain where you just hate him. Or like, man, I can't wait to see this guy get taken out. You do sympathize with him, but then you get to a point, even when he loses his mind, you say, okay, he has to be stopped, but I don't want to see him die though. But he does need to be stopped. And it was like after he killed Ash, that's when it was really like, all right, man, Kobe,
it's all over now. Yeah,
you done, buddy, you done.
Yeah, I mean, I even didn't hate him or think he was done. Like when he killed like the humans at the weapons testing place, like where he pretended to be like a circus ape or whatever.
Yeah,
like
that was
really cool.
That was dope. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that was like so chilling, when he's like laughing and messing around. He's like, and he just like takes him out. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. That was actually kind of scary.
Yeah.
And Rob, in that shot where the tank, where he's on top of the tank. And the way they did the shot where they had the camera like follow the tank around, and it was almost like for like first person POV. That shot was so dope, man. Like a lot of the cinematography of this movie too, like fucking top tier.
It's great. Yeah. The action sequences are great. Yeah.
Right. So it's once again it's that rare sequel that surpasses the original. You know what I'm saying? Becomes like its own thing, and it's like for a summer blockbuster film that's usually notorious for just being dumb popcorn fun that you go, you have a good time with it, then you leave and then you forget about it. Like Dawn actually sticks to the ribs. You know what I'm saying? It feels like some good old home cooking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, because it's got some heart. Yeah.
Right.
I think that's what makes this series great. Is it isn't just mindless, sarcastic action stuff like we're used to. There's a dramatic core to it that a lot of modern action films don't have.
It doesn't follow the same old tropes that a lot of them do. You know what I'm saying? Like it actually had something to say and entertained, and didn't try to be. It actually wanted to tell a story.
Right.
So yes. With that being said, once again, okay, A+ for Rise. I give Dawn another A+, man. So that's 2 A+ in a row.
Yeah. I'll bump this up to the A+. It's one of my favorite like action films. Yeah, it's really great. Yeah.
Nice. We agree there. All right. So now we go to War, that dropped in 2017. Once again, directed by Matt Reeves. So I first started my channel when this movie came out. So
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, so this movie has a special place, man. This is one of the first movies that I reviewed on my channel. My face was a little thinner, you know what I'm saying? My hairline wasn't back so far. Actually
well, you gotta show up in costume like me, and then nobody knows. Yeah.
But Rob, I'll tell you, man, the longer you do this YouTube shit and you go back and watch like your older stuff from like years ago, you're gonna be like, oh my God. Look how different I look. Jesus. Like my
I've
brother,
watched your old videos. Yeah. You looked a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, my brother called me and said, bro, you had a baby face, man. I said, don't rub it in, man.
And I think with some of your early videos, you didn't have the beard yet either, did you?
Oh, yeah, I had the beard, but like I said, my face was a little thinner, so
okay.
It didn't stand out as much back then. But yeah, War was one of the first movies that I reviewed, and once again, saw this in the cinema. And at the time, I loved it, and I still love it now. But I don't know, I didn't watch it as much as Dawn, but still, once again, it's a summer blockbuster film, but it doesn't follow the tropes. Like it has a story to it. But I definitely did have a couple of issues with this film.
Yeah, me too.
I did have a couple of issues, but okay, Caesar's back again. We're at war now, so it picks up where the last movie left off. And now we have some sellout apes, right? That used to roll with Cobra, and now they're with the humans. And you have the one main gorilla, they call him Donkey, who is the biggest sellout there is. Oh my God!
Oh, don't they call all of the apes that work for them Donkey?
I think they just called him. I think
is it just the one? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then you had the albino gorilla. He was the snitch.
Right.
Yeah, the albino gorilla. He was the one that he acted like he was with Caesar, but he was really working for them. And we get introduced to a new antagonist, the Colonel, played by Woody Harrelson, and a very role for him, because Woody Harrelson usually plays kind of like the quirky, kind of silly, goofy kind of character. And
yeah, he's kind of a comedian. Yeah,
he's a comedian, yeah, but he was menacing in this movie. Like, he starts out and, spoiler, but wipes out Caesar's family, man, like from the jump.
Yeah,
you know, and so it becomes a revenge tale where Caesar wants to get revenge on the Colonel, and he pretty much ignores his, his flock. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the alpha, he's the leader, but he's like, I can't deal with this right now. Y'all go do y'all thing. I gotta go handle this. And of course, the crew comes with them. Rocket and Maurice and Buck Part 2. They said, "No, we're not go by yourself, and we're coming with you." And what I like about this is that Caesar, you see the chinks in Caesar's armor because he's so used to being the strong leader. But here we see the flaws in Caesar, where even he realizes, like, oh my God, like, what have I done? Like, I've become so consumed with hate and revenge that I neglected my people, my apes. And as a result, now they're enslaved. My son is enslaved now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what have I done? Like, I've become Koba.
Yeah,
And he has an epiphany where he sees Koba in visions, like, oh my God, like, the guy that I killed last movie, I'm becoming him.
Yeah.
I think even Maurice had a line where Maurice was telling him that, dude, you're becoming Koba.
Exactly. Like, you need to get some perspective.
Right. And so, and the Colonel's motivation is very clear too. Like, because at first he comes across as a one-note villain. Okay, he's like, kind of like, okay, this is the classic villain that I just want to see all apes die, whatever. But he has a reason, because the simian flu has now evolved. It's mutated to where now it takes away your ability to speak. It makes you what's the word I'm looking for?
Mute.
Incompetent. Yeah, mute, incompetent. Like, you're pretty much mindless.
Right.
And it started with his son. Like, his son, he revealed that his son suffered from that. So listen, I have to do my due diligence and save humanity. So it's nothing personal. Like, I didn't want to kill your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop taking it so personal. I'm trying to save my kind.
Right.
Because your kind's about to take over, and I cannot let that happen. So it's not like I don't like you. This is just something that I have to do.
Exactly. Yeah. He tells Caesar, like, wow, you are impressive. Yeah. But stop being so emotional. Like, we're
so
trying
emotional.
To survive here.
But to me, bro, I think the highlight of this movie for me, bro, was the bad ape character.
He's funny.
He's funny because the movie it becomes really morbid. Like, it becomes really like kind of a depressing film, because it's just Caesar trying to get his payback. And then when we get introduced to Bad Ape brings a lot of, he lightens the movie up a lot.
Exactly.
Comic relief.
And they do a good job of putting his scenes in between, like, the heavy scenes. So you're not just completely brought down, like, by how depressing the movie is.
Yeah. But even he's a tragic character too, because he came from, I guess, the zoo that Caesar rescued a lot of the apes from. So even the name Bad Ape came from the humans always like Bad Ape. So he thought that was his name, and he's been alone this whole time, like, no friends, nobody. So when he gets Caesar and them to come, he's like, all over the place, like, oh, okay, well, let me show you this.
Right,
Look, friends, new friends. And you feel, so even though he's making you laugh, but you do feel bad for him, like, damn, he's had a hard life too,
Another thing I like about the character, I mean, not his character so much, but what they did with the story is, or like the lore, is because he didn't get access to the medicine, and he's not descendant from any of the ones that had access to the medicine. So it sort of establishes that the simian flu that spread around the world is turning all the apes in the world smart. So I thought that was cool, like how they handled that, like from a lore perspective.
Yeah, because even Caesar looks surprised, like, how were you able to speak?
Yeah, like why are you smart? It's because he caught the simian flu like every ape on the planet did.
Right. So so as much praise as I give this movie, man, because once again, I thought the cinematography was top tier. You know, it's a beautiful looking film.
Hmm.
It fleshes out Caesar even more, and like I said, you see more of the flaws in his character. And now, like, you know, the obstacles are even bigger now than ever before for him, where he made a big mistake, and now it's up to him to rectify it. You know, which eventually does cost him his life, but at least he dies knowing that, you know, I did the right thing by the apes and I saved them, and now I can just die peacefully. And I tell
Hmm.
you what, man, I don't know about you, but there was not a dry eye in that theater when I saw this opening weekend, bro. You
Hmm.
can hear. So just like I said, it was quiet. You can hear a pin drop. When he said no. When he died, all you heard was,
Right. Yeah.
and I'm sitting there like, don't cry, don't cry,
Keep it
don't
in.
cry,
Keep it in. Keep
be
it in.
strong.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about it, Rob. We've been with him since he was a baby. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So we've seen him from a baby to becoming a father to now. You see the gray, like he's older now. He's a
Hmm.
seasoned veteran, and his demise. You know, his death. You
Right.
know,
Yep.
so we've been with his whole journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when he dies, it hurt.
Right. That's
Yeah.
one of my criticisms of the film, though,
Okay.
is after being with him so long and watching his development
Right.
throughout the trilogy, I mean, they just did him kind of dirty, letting him sort of slump over, and then that's the end. I mean, he deserves a big like state funeral, you know, or um, yeah, or to survive or something. But yeah, like just to kind of die like next to Maurice while nobody
Yeah.
even notices. I mean, that's I don't know. That's not really like a hero's ending, you know.
Mm.
I would have if they were going to kill him, I would have preferred a funeral. I guess. Yeah.
Kind of like Vader getting burned in Return of the Jedi. You know, Luke throwing the
Yeah.
fire on Vader, and that music kicks in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something. Yeah.
yeah. It wasn't the most climactic, you know, ending for a character, but I understand why though, because at that point, even though he did have another son, but it's like I don't want to say he had nothing to live for, but it's like my mission is complete. Like my job was to get my apes to the promised land, and I did
Right.
that. And
Yeah.
I did avenge my wife and my son, so I can just, you know, I can just die now, you know.
Mm,
And I mean, I get what you're saying, but I do understand. Like, I didn't have a problem with him dying the way he did, you
hmm.
know, because it's like my job is now it's complete, you know.
Right. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that's true. Yeah. He did.
right.
Yeah. He fulfilled his obligations or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
But with that being said, one of my criticisms is that uh killing his family off like so early like that, you know, because
Mm,
his son, the oldest son, played a huge part in Dawn.
right.
You know what I'm saying? He played a huge part, even had an arc and everything. And within 6, 7 minutes into this movie, he's dead.
Mm,
And that was it. You know, it's almost like Kincaid surviving in Elm Street 3, right? Yes, Kincaid
right.
survived, and he was the first motherfucker to die in 4.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like you Boba Fetted him, you Kincaided him.
Right.
That
Yeah.
was one of my criticism, man. And they died off screen. Like you didn't even see them get killed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you just see them on the ground dead. And
Yeah.
you're
Yeah. You
like,
just hear on the radio where the
right.
general or whatever says King Kong is down. And then
Mm-hmm.
you're like, well, wait a minute. Caesar's not down. And then
Right.
because Caesar's the one that heard that. So then he
Mm-hmm.
knows that something's bad's happened. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And yes, when I first saw that in the theater, I said, wait a minute, did they just kill his family? I
Right.
said, what the
Yeah.
fuck? I'm like, that
What?
was only 10 minutes into the movie. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that and yeah, sometimes the pacing did kind of come to a halt at times where it did
Yeah.
really slow down some,
Yeah,
you
there's
know.
no reason for this movie to be 220. I mean,
Right,
they could have trimmed 20 minutes out of this. Just
right.
make it a tight 2 hour movie. It would have been fine. Yeah.
Mhm. Exactly, exactly. But other than that, I thought, you know, once again, I can call it a masterpiece. I thought it was a good way to end the trilogy out. You know, I felt satisfied. I mean, I felt sad, but I was satisfied with the way it ended. And I'm like, well, I guess they can stop here. You know, there's, you know, But apparently now we got another one coming out this week. So
Right.
yeah.
And this one is the new one's supposed to be kind of further into the future, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's like a 300, I think 2 or 300 year time jump.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So even the apes that survived in this one are gonna be probably long forgotten,
Yeah, long gone. Yeah. So this one will end with humans arriving from the past, and it'll connect back to like the 1968 one or something.
Right. Which was, I mean, which kind of disappoints me because I wanted to see, because I thought they were going to go with Cornelius growing up, you know what I'm saying? And seeing Cornelius's journey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And probably meeting like Zero or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They're tied together, but who knows? Listen, they're probably going to be Cornelius the 6th or the 7th or whatever, you know?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. I don't even know how long do chimpanzees live? Like, what's their?
They can live past 50, I believe.
Can they? Okay.
Yeah, I think they can live up to like 50 years old or something like that.
So their generations are a bit shorter than human ones.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Because Michael Jackson's chimp Bubbles is still alive. I think Bubbles.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I think Bubbles is like he's 40. I think he's like 42 now, 42, 43.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's still alive and well, and if you see him, he still looks like Bubbles, but just a more muscular version that if you go near him, he's
yeah. I'm not gonna go near a chimpanzee. I'm big for human. I'm not big for chimpanzee.
Yeah. Because I remember Eddie Murphy told a funny story. Eddie said that he had went to Michael's house to visit him, and and Bubbles was still living with him at the time. He said, yeah, and I saw Bubbles, and they had Bubbles in a cage, and he was like, at this time he was bigger. Now he couldn't be out like he used to. And I said, Mike, is that Bubbles? And Mike was like, yes, don't go near the cage, Eddie.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
Because they say literally like overnight they go from just chill to like I can fuck you up now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna get aggressive with you. Happens just like that.
Yeah, and they're scary. Yeah. Big teeth, big muscles. Mm-hmm. They're scary. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I think you're safer with a gorilla than a chimp because gorillas are
more they're
gorillas
more
laid back and chill. Yeah, as long as you don't look him in the eye. Like if you look a gorilla in the eye, that's a show of disrespect. You know what I mean? And
that's true of a lot of animals. Yeah, they don't like it when you look at them in the eye. Yeah.
Right. So as long as you show a gorilla, you're the boss. We cool. But a chimp would just look at you and be like, "I'm gonna rip your face off now."
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You don't need that arm.
Right. Don't need that camera neither.
No, I got a little too excited. Oh, that's great.
Oh man, that was perfect timing.
Now you can see my living room. All right, back in action.
Yeah, man. So with those criticisms, War was still a dope film, but I feel like it's the weaker of the three. Yeah, but I still watch them all together. And I think this may be a hot take what I'm about to say, but besides the Star Wars OG trilogy, I think this is the best trilogy of all time after Star Wars.
Oh yeah, boy, yeah, I might agree as far as like action trilogies go. Yeah, I mean the OG Star Wars is that's probably my favorite. But do you like this more than like the classic Indiana Jones?
That is a trilogy too, huh?
Yeah. Or Back to the Future.
I wasn't crazy. I love the first Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I kind of liked 2. I wasn't crazy about 2, and 3 to this day I haven't finished 3.
Oh really? I like 3 a lot.
I haven't finished 3 yet. I have to give it another chance, man. So I would say Indiana Jones. I would put after this one because I like Raiders, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, all great.
Yeah,
but it's just
cool,
but just the Planet of the Apes trilogy, it just shows the full journey of a character. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole the hero's journey is like all throughout all 3 of these movies. You know what I'm saying? Like it plays as one movie just about. Whereas Indiana Jones is dope. Those movies were like they were their own separate adventures.
That's true. Yeah. This one is similar to Star Wars in the sense that it is like one big movie. Yeah.
Right.
So I guess then Lord of the Rings would maybe be another contender, because that's
Yeah,
also like one
yeah,
big movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And another series that I didn't love completely.
Okay.
I
Mhm.
didn't love because they're just so long, man.
They are long, yeah.
So long, bro. I started Return of the King back in 2004, and I think that movie's still playing as we speak. That movie never ended, bro. Shit, fuck the never ending story, man. That's the never ending movie.
Right, yeah. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are really long. Yeah,
Long.
my family and I, we watch them every couple of years, and we
Yeah.
always do it where we'll do them on like on a matinee,
Hmm.
like, and then halfway through, so like 90 minutes in, we take a break and then like go for a walk and then come back and
Right.
then finish the second half, which is a whole movie again,
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah. I mean, and they're solid films. I watched the first. Okay, I saw the first one on. I got that from Blockbuster, right? So I watched that one at home. I was like, okay, that was a cool joint. And actually, I went to see Two Towers, and I fell asleep about an hour and a half into the movie. I took like maybe a 20, 30-minute nap because I woke up.
mm,
When I woke up, there was a final battle happening, and that final battle
yep.
was rough. You know what I'm saying? That shit
It's
was
rough,
tight.
yeah.
Yeah. And then Return of the King. Okay, so Return of the King, I was loving. Right, got to the
Mm,
climax. I'm like, damn, that was tight. That was a good. Oh, there's still more. Okay.
there's a lot more,
Oh,
yeah.
I said, oh, okay. It's about to end. Nope, we still got more to
Nope.
go.
No, there's more people to fight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it got
Frodo
to
hasn't destroyed the ring yet. Yeah, we gotta go.
bro.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point. I'm like, this. I looked at my ex-wife my wife at the time. I said, this shit ain't never gonna end. And then I started losing interest after that. I'm like, all right, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was enough to win Best Picture though. So props to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was more of a, in recognition of the trilogy as a whole, not that
Right.
picture in particular. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I would put Lord of the Rings up there as one of the top. One
Yeah,
of the
it's
top
good.
trilogies.
Yeah.
It's good. It just like I said, I didn't love it, but I definitely
Mm.
love the OG Star Wars. I love the Planet of the Apes trilogy. I love the Indiana Jones trilogy. Contrary to I did like the Matrix trilogy. I thought the Matrix trilogy, even
Okay.
though
Mm.
Reloaded has some problems,
Mm.
you know,
I mean, I love the first Matrix movie a
yeah.
lot. Yeah, that's one of my favorite
Hmm.
sci-fi movies. But yeah, that series kind of went off the rails for me. I was like,
Right.
yeah, I'm checking out. Yeah.
Yeah. And and Captain America. I love the Captain America movies.
Oh yeah, I like those too. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
and the Guardians of the Galaxy
mhm.
movies I like a lot too. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Cap, I mean, the first Cap was kind of a Raiders ripoff a little bit, somewhat.
Mm,
But man, that Winter Soldier was like,
that's
yo,
good. Yeah,
that
yeah.
was, you know what I'm saying? And then Civil War, I was a little kid all over again. Like I was playing with my action figures, watching the airport scene. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
I'm like, I'm a kid again, playing with my toys, playing out the scenario and stuff. And then I fight with Bucky and Cap at the end,
mhm.
with Tony, loved it. But but that Planet of the Apes, I mean, I would put that number 2
After Star
behind Star
Wars.
Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I'd put it. It'd be pretty high.
Hmm.
Star Wars number 1. I might go Back to the Future number 2, and
Okay,
then maybe Planet of the Apes,
okay.
the Caesar trilogy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
would say the Mad Max trilogy, the Mel Gibson trilogy, but I wasn't
Ugh.
a fan. I wasn't a fan of Beyond Thunderdome.
No, no. That movie, like, what were they thinking? Like, I love Fury Road. Like, that was
Yes,
really a return to form. Like, that movie's
yes,
amazing.
yes.
But yeah, Beyond Thunderdome is like halfway through that movie gets real stupid.
It does. It felt like it was two different movies, man.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, that first third that had to do with Thunderdome and the whole thing with the arena, the fighting in the arena, Master
Yeah, that's
Blaster, and all
cool.
that. I'm like, all that stuff was good, and then
Yeah,
it turned into like Lord of the
Peter
Flies.
Pan.
Yeah, Japan. Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is? I said, what's up with the
Exactly.
kids? Yeah.
What? With their own like stupid made up language and stuff? Like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah. But it's funny, bro. I went back and watched Siskel and Ebert's review on that, and Siskel and Ebert was like, they was creaming over that movie, man.
Really?
I think both of them put it in their top 10 of 85.
Wow. Okay.
I was like,
Yeah.
you serious? Yeah, they loved it.
Crazy.
They
Yeah.
said they said, yeah, each movie, and this this is one of the rare occasions where each movie got better. You trying to say it's better than the Road Warrior?
Yeah, no chance.
Are you on fucking crack?
I mean, I agree that like Fury Road is maybe the best one. Like,
Yeah, I would say so too. I would, and I'm biased too, like because I'm that guy that says, oh, you'll never surpass, But yeah, when I saw Fury Road, I said, yeah, I think this might be better than the Road Warrior.
Yeah, it might be better than the Road Warrior. Like that's such an amazing film.
Right. Yeah. And I'm excited about Furiosa. Like I saw that trailer when I went to see Boy Kills World. That was my first time seeing the full trailer. I said, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to see this in IMAX.
Yep. Yeah. That one could be cool.
Yep. All right, man. So I'm wrapping it up. So War for the Apes. I still would give it A, even though I had some problems with it. War still gets an A for me. So A+, A. So still solid across the board.
Yeah, I'm gonna put War down at a B. Solid. I like it. It's rewatchable, but it's too long, and I don't like really how they ended Caesar's story that much.
Yeah. I can understand that because he was such a great. Like, how do you end a character like that though, man?
Right. Yeah.
Such an epic, awesome character, and it's a shame that they don't have like an honorary Oscar for Andy Serkis. For his motion capture work, man. That they need to give that guy something,
Yeah, they really should. Like, I mean, they've added new categories to Oscars before in light of new technologies. Yeah, they should add one for like motion capture, but maybe there's not enough competition. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like he's so good at what he does. I mean, you look back at his track record, man, from Gollum to Kong. I think he's doing motion capture for this one for Kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's doing motion capture for Kingdom. Like, his resume is just so like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Right. I mean, when I think of some of the best motion capture characters, Thanos, Caesar, Gollum. Like those are the first three pop in my head. And two of them were played by Andy Serkis. So what's that?
Right. Yeah. What's that tell you?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So, are you planning
one
to see?
thing
Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, are you seeing Kingdom this weekend?
I don't know if it's in Europe this weekend. I have to look and see. Maybe I have to check.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to see it. Yeah, I already got me and my son's tickets. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it in Dolby. Only reason I'm not going to watch it in IMAX because they haven't updated the seats in there, so the seats are still like upright, like you can't really lean back in them. And I'm spoiled now. I have to be reclined back, legs up, breathing room. IMAX, I'm sitting like this the whole time. This is as far back as I can go. Very uncomfortable, especially when you're a big guy like myself, man. It's very uncomfortable. So, we'll be watching it in Dolby.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say before with the CGI is, I was thinking that, there was a time when I didn't understand why they were doing CGI because it was so much worse than what the practical people were doing. Because at the end of the 70s and the early 80s, you get American Werewolf in London and like John Carpenter's The Thing and like Cronenberg's The Fly. All of these special effects are like way better than any CGI stuff happening 10 years later in the 90s. And it really took, kind of until this series where CGI got to a level that the practical people had at the end of the 70s. Yeah, because here it is. They finally kind of got to photorealism.
Oh, Darcy, especially in War. Okay, I think the biggest compliment we can give War is that the CGI got even better than in
Yeah.
Dawn. And you saw that too, because a lot of times they did like a lot of close-ups. So they wanted you to see how far it's progressed. So they're like, there's a close-up of Maurice's face where they zoom in, and I'm like, oh my God, that looks so real, man. Like you can't tell me that's a CGI face. No way.
And then when they do like, in the snow and they've got like ice crystals and snow droplets on like Caesar's fur and stuff. Like, okay, that looks real. Finally. Yeah.
But I tell you what, a couple of times I was like, okay, the cameraman's showing off now. Okay, we get it. The CG is good.
Yeah,
you don't have to do you don't have to do so many damn close-ups. Okay, we get it now. Oh man. And once again, I had to kill the damn gorilla. Like, what is it about them killing the damn gorillas in these movies, man?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Buck Part 2, man, got taken out. He was the first one to die.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Gorilla discrimination.
Plenty of chimps get killed too, though. Yeah,
they do. But I'm like, they never really fill that void with Buck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And finally, when we do get another character like him, you take him out.
Yep.
Damn it.
Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I was also kind of surprised that there are so few orangutans. Like, there's Maurice.
Right.
Are there other ones walking around? Not too many.
Well, in Rise, there was a whole bunch of them. Because remember, in Rise, they were all under the bridge,
right.
Doing the monkey bars on the bottom of the bridge. So, you did see a lot of them in Rise. But, in Dawn and War, it was just pretty much Maurice as far as the
just pretty much, Maurice. Yeah.
So, Rob, I know it's late where you're at, man. So, thank you for taking the time out to join me.
Always a pleasure to chat with you. Yeah.
So once again, to those that's watching, check out Rob's channel, Xploitation Reviews. Once again, I put the link in the description. So check him out. Tell him I sent you. Have a whole bunch of content you can just binge for hours and hours. Listen to Rob talk about these crazy off the wall exploitation films.
Yeah.
No doubt, man.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Wild stuff. Yeah.
So if you want to, man, you can plug your channel and let the people know what you got coming up. What's on the pipeline.
So like Rashad said, I cover exploitation films, which are films that are generally low budget and try to attract an audience by offering sex and violence. Today, which is always fun. So I don't know what's coming up, but today I dropped a new video for a review of a film from 1931, which is partially responsible for creating the naughty nurses trope. So it's a pre-code film with some sexy nurses.
Nice, man. From 1931.
1931, yeah. Going old school this week. Yeah.
Wow. I thought stuff like that was kind of taboo back then. They couldn't show anything,
It was taboo. It was a very risque film for the time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's like what did they have a thing like back then where you couldn't show a toilet flushing or something like that, or you couldn't show two people sleeping in the same bed.
So this was the sleeping in the same bed thing. This was introduced with the Hays Code, which came at the end of 1934. And then the films made before 1934 are considered pre-code films where they didn't have to follow these rules. And a lot of times these older films feel modern because they're not following these stupid puritanical rules introduced in 1934. Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting, like from 1929 to 1934, you get some pretty cool films that still feel modern today, and then the code comes at the end of 1934, and then from 1934 to like 1960s, all that stuff is like doesn't feel realistic at all because it's following these strange rules. You got to go old school to find like cool stuff.
Nice. Okay, then just taught a brother something there.
Oh yeah. A little film history. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. All right, man. We're gonna go ahead sign out here, and to the next episode, Rob. Hopefully we collab again really real
Yeah,
soon.
absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So to everybody, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Check my man Rob out, Xploitation Reviews, and we are out. And now for the awkward silence.
Awkward pause. Find the button. Yes.
Do, 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 do.